Hey guys, Dean Ryan Lake here, and I am really excited right now because he is back. He is back, and we've all been looking forward to him. And who's back, you ask? Samurai Jack. Oh man, this episode was so hyped. I've been looking forward to this for years and years. I did not think we were gonna get it, and we did. It was revealed, was it last year? And this was personally for me, it was an awesome late birthday present because my birthday was on Friday, so just amazing, just amazing. So anyway, this is going to be a recap and review, and obviously, because to recap, there are going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to see and if you don't want to have any spoilers, then just click off the video now, and I'll give you a few seconds to do so. Okay, is that it? Alright, let's begin. So what starts off is that there's a mother and her children fleeing from those beetle monsters from the original series. And they're humanoid, they communicate with these antennae on their head. They can't make sounds, they can form words and images, with their antennae. So anyway, they're fleeing, they get surrounded, and they tell each other that they love, they say, I love you, and then you think, oh god, that is just so beautiful. But then who comes riding on his motorbike? Jack. He comes, he starts shooting the beetles. I'm going to call them the beetles because I like that. He starts shooting them, he destroys them. He forms spikes on his motorbike wheels, first the front and then the back. Starts shredding them to pieces. Then he jumps off his motorbike, and he doesn't have his sword on him, but we'll come to that later. He has a staff. On one end, it forms this claw thing. On the other end is electricity. Again, he starts destroying them. He kills them all, and then, they're all gone. But then he doesn't say anything to the mother and her children. He just goes on his motorbike. He is gone. Even though the little girl, she does say thank you, though, because she can't speak, he's not going to hear it. But then again, he was already not miles away, but anyway. So then, Jack has some sort, he has a monologue. He mentions that it's been 50 years since he's arrived in the future, but he hasn't aged. Which I really, really like, because when I first heard that it was 50 years in the future, I was like, yeah, Jack is awesome and all, but he would be in his late 70s or something, So yeah, I really like that, and it really brings into question the effects of time travel on someone. And then he does something really cool. He says, gotta get back to the past, Samurai Jack. Which is referencing the theme song. We didn't get a theme song, but he referenced it, and that was awesome. And then suddenly we go to this lair. We see 12 women bowing down to a statue of Aku. And one lady is actually giving birth. We hear her in pain. We see her. We don't actually see anything specific, but, it's just something. So she gives birth to 7 little girls. And then just like that, she is up, putting on her cloak, putting on her mask. Yeah, they've got all these masks that make them look like Aku and stuff. And then she basically tells the Aku statue, yes, I've given you these 7 girls that are going to do your bidding and kill the samurai after some training and all that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then, so obviously this little scene is set years ago, because unless they're aging quickly, which I really doubt. Then we go back to Jack. Jack's travelling across the land on his motorbike until he gets to a stream. It's nice and peaceful. He takes a drink from the stream, and then all of a sudden he sees his father's face in a fallen leaf. And then after that, his father ends up in the stream, drifting away, basically saying, where were you? We were waiting for you all this time. And then the same thing happened to his mother, saying like, you've forgotten us and all that. And a really creepy part was that he started seeing all his people in like a zombified state. It was kind of like, I guess you could say Walking Dead sort of thing, even though I actually don't watch The Walking Dead. But then again, I have seen it on, YouTube clips and stuff like that, so probably valid there. So he sees black smoke in the distance, and the old Jack would have gone to it. But he just looks sadly. He's so somber, and he just goes off. And then we get like a little few hours time skip. He's cooking and eating a rat over a fire. When he sees his father in the fire, you know, when he tried to fight Aku, and then Aku had him, tied up and all that, all trapped. Basically like that, but his father's burning as well. And then his father's saying the same stuff, saying, "You've forgotten us," you know, all of that. And then his father becomes like, his father's face changes into like, it looks like a demon. And then all these other faces in the background. And then it freaks out Jack so much. I mean, that is the perfect example of PTSD. I really, really like the realism there. I mean, it's as real as you can get, with time travel and all that, but yeah. Because he is still human, and he is still affected by all that. So, encouraged by this, he goes to the black smoke in the end. And then after that, we go back to the girls. They're older, they're, well, not even 10 yet, I think, if that. And then their training involves fighting this huge female. I mean, she's so muscular and everything. But then one girl, she gets knocked aside, and she sees sunlight. So she goes through a little crevice in the wall, and through a hole on the other side, she sees daylight, and she's amazed by it. But then she's caught by, one of those ladies, more like, the one who gave birth to her. And then she's basically saying, Samurai Jack's out there, he leaves destruction in his wake. But and the girl is called Ashi, by the way. But because Ashi went away to actually check that stuff, she gets punished, she gets pummeled by that muscular lady. And we don't see it, we just see the shadows, but it's just so brutal. And then we get another time skip. Ashi and the other girls, they're grown up, and they're skipping across these pillars of rock. And then Ashi falls down, but she manages to grip a rock. Well, grip the side of the rock. And another girl's told not to help her because she's weak. And then, I'll just call her mother. Her mother comes with her staff and starts crushing her hand with the staff. And you can actually, the sound effects are brilliant here. I mean, you can just feel the pain. And the look on her face, animation artwork here, brilliant. But Ashi proves that she is not weak, somersaults over her mother, and skips away. And then we get this. Another part of the training involves them dodging arrows in the dark. But the arrows are lit with fire, which I suppose could help a little bit, but anyway. We go back to Jack. Jack arrives in the city he sees, and it's just devastation. Just devastation. And there's dead bodies everywhere. There's just absolute dead bodies. And then he sees this assassin, he's called Scaramouche the Merciless. And yet, Scaramouche is actually based on some Italian thing, let's see if I can remember, Commedia dell'arte, or something like that, yeah. So anyway, he's this flamboyant robot assassin. I really like this guy. It's the perfect way to bring Jack's first proper fight in the series, yeah. And then Scaramouche is, he's pretty excited to see Jack, But then he sees Jack has no sword, realizes he's lost it, and actually takes out a pink cell phone and phones Aku. And we get to hear Aku. Even though it's not the original Aku, it's still awesome to hear his voice. It really is. And it is funny to think, that he's probably got some sort of, cell phone himself, or that phone from the original series. And you can just imagine him answering it. And that's the typical Samurai Jack humor, isn't it? Yeah, so he's about to call him. Aku answers, but Jack throws his blades at the phone, knocks it out of Scaramouche's hand, but it actually doesn't destroy it. But again, that doesn't matter because the phone is not brought up again throughout the whole episode. And then Scaramouche, he wouldn't be Aku's, well, number one assassin for nothing. He has a magic flute, and when he starts playing it, all the rocks around Jax form together to become a monster. And Jax starts fighting it. He knocks off the head, but then Scaramouche is able to make another rock go on and become its new head. And yeah, it's just weird. And in Jack's armor, he's able to form like these arm shields on his wrists, and he's able to block all these rocks hitting him. And he's able to destroy the flute in the end by throwing one of the arm shields at the flute, cutting it in half. But that doesn't matter to Scaramouche, because apparently he can sing. Well, he can scat. So he starts scatting or singing, and then his sword starts moving on its own accord and starts attacking Jack. Though Jack keeps trying to fight, he runs to Scaramouche and ends up in a melee battle against Scaramouche and the sword. And Jack's using these two, daggers, should I say, but then Scaramouche has his own. And the dagger actually splits into two, and when Jack hits it, it reverberates and destroys his dagger. And I've forgotten what the instrument is called, but when you see it, you'll actually know. And then Jack he doesn't care, he just goes on for it, hits his dagger against Scaramouche's, and his dagger starts vibrating. It's about to blow up, but then he chucks it in Scaramouche's face, distracts him, and takes Scaramouche's sword. Scaramouche knows he is lost, and Jack, without missing a beat, just strikes him through the shoulder down to the bottom, and he ends up blowing up. But then we get to see all that oil from the original series. Yeah, it was just it was brutal for a robot, that was. Then his head flies off, and yes, Scaramouche is gone. Aku's so-called number one assassin. Though then again, he did take that whole city, so there is something there. And then, after that, that's Jack's pretty much his last scene. We go back to the girls again. They're training against the masked women. They're fighting, on this rock pillar. They start, going up, taking on each other, and the girls are really good. But then we get to Ashi. One of the masked women is firing arrows at her. She dodges every single one before grabbing the last one and stabbing her in the eye. I mean, we got to see the blood and everything. She finishes her off. And that's where we can see how this Samurai Jack Season 5 is different from the first 4. Yeah, just as we were promised. Yes, that was so awesome. And then she takes the bow and arrow. She kills everyone else, apart from the one who gave birth to them. And they find out their training is complete. And they're told to go out into the world and kill Samurai Jack. And I suppose everyone else that comes into their path. And that's how the episode ends. Honestly, it was like Samurai Jack had never left. I'm just so hyped right now. I just really am. Oh man, I know we were told we're only going to get season 5, to finish it off, but if all the episodes are going to keep getting better and better, then yeah, one season is just going to be totally worth it. The artwork was the same. It's just so cool. The animation, we just got the same animation. And then when you get certain a focus, the screen shrinks and all that. You get the black sides. Oh man, it's just, and then it was over 20 minutes, but I could have sworn only 5 minutes passed from beginning to end. It was just that much. That's awesome. Oh man, and the sound effects. We got the sound effects, metal on metal. And then when Jack, when he's fighting those beetles, we got his trademark scream. We got it. I heard that. I was like, yes, he's back. He's back. Yes, and then again, Jack, the PTSD, you can actually understand it. I mean, when you think about the original, season 1, he was taken from his own time. I mean, even before that, He was taken away from his family as a child. He traveled the world to, learn all these martial arts and weaponry and all that. Then he had to fight a demon. Got sort of, I guess you could say, got complacent and got sent into the future. So that's a different time. He's there for years. Then he ends up finding that he ends up finding that he can't age, and he loses his sword. Yeah. I forgot that. We get a part where he's talking to Scaramouche, and Jack has a flashback to where his sword falls into like this giant hole. Not too dissimilar to the hole Darth Maul fell in when Obi-Wan cut him in half. So that's what happened to his sword, though. I suppose we'll get more. Maybe he will obviously be reunited with his sword, no doubt about that. But yeah, and I guess when you think about it, Jack is immortal, really. I mean, not like Zamasu from Dragon Ball Super, but I suppose he will still be. He can still get killed, with a chop to the head and all that. But time does not affect him. Yeah. But anyway, this was such a fantastic episode. I'm still so hyped. I'm probably going to watch this episode a few times over. Just to tide me over until we get to the second one. I'll probably go over to the past Samurai Jack episodes again. Because, yeah, I'm just in a Samurai Jack mode at the moment. Oh, I just can't believe it. Anyway, I really, really hope you've enjoyed Samurai Jack's Season 5 Episode 1 as well. Or Episode 53 and all. Because I really did. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.